In this video, we're going to be looking at distributed crawling with Scrapy and Redis. So on the left-hand side of my screen, these two split terminals here, I have two spiders running and waiting for instructions. They're waiting for a URL to come through to pass the data. On the right-hand screen, I've connected to my Redis instance through my CLI. And if I push this URL, you're going to notice one of these spiders is going to pick it up and it's going to scrape the data. There it goes, the top one got it. Now, if I come over to this window and I show you the actual GUI, I'm using Redis Commander to connect to my Redis instance. When I hit refresh, I have this product key and the items now hold the information that came back from that spider. So what we've essentially done is we have our spiders waiting and ready, and we sent them a URL. They've picked the URL up from Redis rather, they scraped the data and then they've sent it back. So I've just added a load more URLs and you'll see both spiders have started to pick up some jobs. So let's do it again. And we should get both of them start to flick through. And you can see how quickly they'll pick them up and then run through them. If I come back to our actual key value here and I refresh, we now have 38, albeit of the same thing because I gave it the same URL over and over, but they all have a different ID with the information in. Now, because it's Redis, you can connect to Redis with any programming language that you like. So you could have a disconnect here if you wanted to, I don't know, say take information from a JavaScript front end and then use Scrapy on the back end to get the data. Or even if you're just using Python, we could push these URLs into this through our actual just Python using Redis. So what I'll do just quickly is I'll just close the spiders down and I'll just put a couple of URLs into the key values. So if we hit refresh, you'll see we have start URLs here. These are just now waiting for a spider to start and to pick them up. Let's have a quick look then at what this is actually doing. So I'm going to create a thing here and we'll just say that this is our Redis queue, like so. Make that nice and big, not too big. There we go. Then we're basically passing the information, the URLs that we get are going into a spider, which we will make here. Let's write spider. Okay. There we go. So we have our spider. Then the spider is basically doing the work and then passing it back into our Redis store, which is the same Redis instance. It's just a different key value. Now, of course, you could have multiple keys and values for different spiders, so they all pick it up from a different place and send it back. But the beauty of this is, I'll just put this here so we know that it's URLs going in the top, however we choose, start URLs. So the thing about this is that, of course, with this being able to pick up URLs as we go, we could, of course, have as many of these as we like. So we've got 3 here. Let's have 5 running, for example, and it's going to do exactly the same thing. They're all going to poll the same queue for the URLs. They're all the same spider. They're all running and waiting. So we can easily scale this horizontally, which is where the distributed comes from. Because if you think you can get a Redis instance from the cloud, you can connect to that from anywhere. So you could have these spiders running across any amount of different machines or all on one machine that you can then simply scale up and down depending on how big your queue is. And that's the most important thing to take away from this. It's not that this is going to be the best for you if you're just scraping one site from your home, but if you're trying to do lots of different things, this is a really cool way of doing it. So to do this, to replicate it, what we're going to do is we're going to come to the GitHub for Scrapy Redis. And if we scroll down, it tells you a little bit about it here. Now, I did have some issues with this when I did it on the live stream a while ago, but those have been fixed. However, we aren't going to install from pip because when I tried to do this before, I had some issues, so I'm just going to do the git clone from GitHub. This may very well work now, depending on when you're watching this video. We're going to set up a example spider here, so you can see we have our Redis spider, and we're going to then scrape the data so we can give it URLs from my test store here, which is available for everyone. If you wanted to practice or use it, that's absolutely fine. You'll find the URL here. So we need to create a new project folder, so I'm going to call this one distributed, and we'll cd into our folder here. And we always want to use a virtual environment when we're working with anything, especially when we're working with Scrapy. The dependencies can give you sorts of problems. So I'm going to activate this and I'm going to do pip3 install Scrapy. So we'll get that installed. I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to copy this code here to actually install Scrapy Redis. We're going to do that separately, as I explained just a minute ago. Let's paste that in so it does it. And it should install fine, and it has. So let's clear out the terminal, come out of this folder because we don't need to be here, and then do Scrapy start project. And I'm just going to call this one go for one, which is the code name for my site, which I don't know why it's that, it just is. And then we'll cd into the folder and we'll do the Scrapy gen spider as I almost always do. And we'll call this one product, and it's going to be on this website. Extract.com like so. Cool. So now we have our skeleton Scrapy project set up. I'm going to cd into it and I'm going to open up NeoVim. You can use whichever code editor you like, but if you don't use NeoVim, you're wrong. And we're going to come to settings. We do need to change a few things here. So I'm going to come down to the bottom to start with. And I'm going to put in here, let's say put a comment in. So this is going to be our Scrapy Redis configuration. So now we're going to come back to the documentation and the example product, the example spider settings, and it'll basically tell us exactly what we need here. These are the main ones. I'm going to copy these, paste them in here. And I don't think we need to worry about any of the other ones. We'll leave this. We can do this for now. And now we need to add in our Redis URL here. So this is going to equal to Redis. And mine is on my local home server, so it's on here. I think it is 32768. Or is it 32678? I think it's 32768. 32768. Perfect. So that's done. So we can now go to our spider. So if we come to spider, which is our product spider, we need to import in a couple of new things. So we'll do from Scrapy Redis. .spiders. We're going to import in the Redis spider. Now there is a Redis crawl spider as well. We're going to be using just the normal one here, and we want to change our spider to this class. So we want to come to Redis spider like so. Now we don't need allowed no names and start URLs, but what we do need is this right here. If I come back to the spider example, you can see that we have the Redis key here. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste this in. So this is where it's going to be looking for in Redis to find these URLs. So I tend to stick with just calling it the name of the spider and then start URLs, which is absolutely fine. By default, it will send back to this this key as well. When you get the items back, it'll be product, items will be where they go to. That's neat and tidy for me here. So if you have multiple ones, you can do that. Or of course, if you have two different spiders, one that gets a set of URLs and you want to pass them into a queue for another set of spiders, you could of course configure it like that. So we're going to pass this, we're going to get the information back just like any other Scrapy spider. We want to yield out a dictionary. Now the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, this is the URL that this data came from, just so we have that there. And this is response.url. Then I'm going to say we're going to have the name of the product, and we'll do response.css. And we will do .get on that, and we'll grab the CSS selector in just a minute. Then we'll do price. Our response.css again. My typing is atrocious, I know, and .get again. So let's just go ahead and grab those selectors. This is a product page, and we'll go inspect. And I'll just say this is H1 is probably absolutely fine here. And the price P span BDI. Okay, cool. So this will be H1. And we want to get the text from that. That should be working fine for us. And then we want to do P, which is a class of price. Then it's a span tag. Then it's a BDI tag. And we want to get the text off of that. My code editor is complaining here about pass, but we can totally ignore that for now. And we can also even remove this. We don't need it. So this is essentially all you need to get going. Your spider here, of course, is whatever your spider is and whatever it does. It will run it in its entirety when it gets that URL, when it picks it up from Redis. So we're going to save this. We'll come out of this now. We'll clear this up and we'll just check that this is working by running Scrapy crawl on product. And as long as we don't get any errors, it's all connected and it's all good. And what's it done is straight away picked up the URLs that were left in the queue. So if I come back to our Redis commander, you see we had these start URLs here that were in there and waiting. So we put them in, waiting for our spiders to run. So now when I hit refresh, they've gone and we should have had the items put in here. So I'm going to delete these keys now. There we go. And we will come over here and I'm going to get rid of this and this one, and we'll come back to, we want this over here like that. And let's clear that up and we'll try, we'll push again. I don't know if I've got any other URLs in there. A bit tedious to type out, that's all. No. Okay, no worries. We'll just push some more in and you'll see they come through like this. So you can see how you can just fill the queue up and your spider is just going to keep pulling them. It's going to keep grabbing them and it's just going to keep working through them. And then it's just going to idle and wait for some more. So hopefully you can kind of see how this is, how this can start to work for you and the things that you can achieve with it. And it's very, very easy to set up. It's just these simple settings and Redis is not difficult not difficult to learn just for a basic thing like this. There are a few more settings for Scrapy Redis that you can play around with if you want to, but I'm going to definitely explore this more and I'm going to put out another video maybe where I run multiple spiders and we pull the URLs from somewhere else, maybe from a database, and then we get that data back out and do something with it. Of course, when you take the data out of Redis, you would pop it out like you pop something out of a list in Python, so it then disappears. So you have all that data sorted out there. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure you subscribe and like and all that good stuff. It really helps me out. Discord as well. Come and join in the Discord. There's over 800 people now in the Discord. It's crazy. Loads of chats going on about all this sort of stuff. Really cool. Plenty of people in there that are super helpful as well. So really appreciate them. Yeah, so come and join that. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. And I will see you again soon.